This is the Retirement Solution Podcast with financial advisor Jon Hicks, founder of J. Hagan Capital.
So, John, we talk all the time about folks that come into your office. They've got $1 million saved. They've got $5 million saved. Some people are selling a small business and they're like, John, my business is being valued for $15, $20 million. But when we think about billionaires, it's like a whole different realm. And I think a lot of us have assumptions about how billionaires function. Well, these people, they've got a team of people and they probably don't ever have to think about anything when it comes to their finances. They get advised and they just go with the flow. Well, there is somebody wanting to set the record straight. One of the world's perhaps most famous billionaires is painting a different picture for our perspective. This is Oprah Winfrey.
My thing is sign every check. I still do. And also show up for all the financial meetings, whether you know what they're talking about or not. Yeah. I still see all the invoices. It makes me ill. Have found mistakes. But I think if you don't, then you're just sort of floating and you don't have any idea of how things operate, how things really run, what things really cost, what it costs to be you. Because there's a price to be you. And nobody else knows what that is. And the person who really should know is the person who's in charge.
Here comes Oprah with a little conviction, everybody.
Well, look at that.
That's some
and
tough
you
love
get a
right
car,
there.
and you get a car, and you get a... Actually, that's better than a car. That's actually sage advice. That may be the greatest thing I've ever heard her say, to be perfectly honest. What she's saying is, and regardless if you're a billionaire, right? The way that most people become billionaires, they take an unbelievable amount of risk and they're very opportunistic and they basically fail themselves into success over periods of time. They just never, when they get punched, they just never stay down. They always get up. Now, once they've become a billionaire, now you understand what Oprah just said. She goes, I look at everything. Because the only way to hold on to those billions is very different than being a risk taker to grow it all. When you finally have the billions, or in our case, millions or hundreds of thousands, the only way to keep it is by not losing it. Right. And so that's why she's saying, even if you don't understand what all these geniuses in finance are talking about,
go to the meeting
you still
anyway.
need to go. You need to be an active participant in your own life. That is genius. And by the way, it's exactly how it goes. When someone says, hey, John, I've made it. It's like, sweet. How did you get there? Man, I ran my small business. I bought that strip mall. I blood, sweat, and tears and put money away. They did the hard part. They took the risk. And now, in order to maintain it, we need to pull some of the risk off the table, learn exactly how we protect it, how to keep all of the tax money, or at least as much as we can in your pocket, not the government's, and make certain that you can use that asset in the course of retirement, but then pass it on correctly, right? So all of those things require serious things, and we have to know our real numbers.
Okay.
So I think one of the things that Oprah just said there, and I thought it was really good, no one knows what it costs to be you but you. I think that's really poignant.
It is.
Right?
It is.
And I also find out when people come in, they don't necessarily know how much it costs to be them.
That's right.
And it's not their fault. It's not their fault. It's just not the way that we've been taught to think.
Right.
You know, it's kind of like we have these arbitrary rules. And by the way, I don't subscribe to any of these. As a rule of thumb, I think that they're oversimplified, which can be very dangerous. But when you think about, there's essentially two rules of thumb that I hear most advisors out there citing. Hey, you need about 70 to 80% of whatever you made when you were working for you to retire. Guys, that is dangerously oversimplified. And we're going to talk about exactly why here in just 1 second. And the other thing I hear is, well, you can take about 4% a year from that portfolio, that 4% rule, and you'll probably be fine. There's a 31% chance you will run out of money by following the 4% rule. So let's break those two things down because those are big ones. Now, when it comes to a budget, and again, it's no one's fault that comes in and sees me. I think a lot of people are like, well, John, I know that. When you get down there and you find out exactly what it's going to cost to be you, a lot of people are amazed. That's why I typically say, in the beginning of retirement, we want you to have between 100 to 140% of what you were spending when you were working for the first 3 to 5 years of retirement.
When you say 140%, do people go, huh? No
They're like,
way.
Whoa, John, I make $100,000 a year. And I think I can live off $50,000. And you're trying to tell me I might need $100,000 to $140,000, dude. You are smoking something weird.
Except for you do this every single day. You see,
right? It's like wherever you're getting your wacky weed, I don't want to be anywhere near you. And the truth of the matter is, what they're not thinking about is all the time on their hands that they're about to have. And the point is that is when they're the youngest and the healthiest that they're going to be, probably over the course of their whole retirement. And I want them to have permission. I want them to have permission to spend the money that they deserve to spend. So instead of potentially setting someone up for failure, I want them to have 100% to 140% of what they've been earning when they were working. Because if you don't spend it all, guess what happens? It just stays in your accounts and grows and compounds and does wonderful things. If you do spend it, I want you to feel like you have the permission to do it. It is tremendous because in the very beginning, you've not potentially had that much money in your accounts, and you've probably not had that much time to spend it any way you want. So without the right game plan, it is very easy, especially when you think, well, I'm just going to spend $60,000 or $70,000. But then all of a sudden you realize, because you're in that house 24 hours a day, 7 days a week now, man, this kitchen is a pile of malarkey. I can't cook in here. This is why we go out to eat too much, but I can't afford to go out to eat every night because I'm not working in the same way, right? Mm-hmm. So this is how it happens. This is how I hear it. This is what everyone tells me. Or I love our kitchen now, John, but that front screen porch where we would love to make that nicer so that when we make our meals, because we're not eating out as much, we can go out there on that screen porch and enjoy it. But right now, no screen, no good flooring,
too many bugs,
no fan out there.
Yeah.
And how much does it cost to do all that? Probably only about $8 or $9 grand. No. 20 or 40,
right?
20 to 40,000 is what it costs, but they don't know that because they haven't done it yet.
Right.
And since they're there in their home, they're looking at it. That's when they realize, oh, this is going to have to happen. But they don't have a working wage. So believe me, it happens. It happens to the best of us. It happens to the best planners of us. And if we're not prepared for that, it can blow us up.
Got it.
So one of the things that we have to understand is those rules of thumb are terrible. I want the first 3 to 5 years. And for some people that have done a really good job saving, I may want them to even increase that.
Okay.
I want them to have permission to spoil their grandkids. I want them to have permission to do a 2-week vacation instead of 1. I want them to, I'm not saying fly first class, but maybe they fly.
I want to fly first class. I'm a 2-week vacation. I'm gonna own it. I work hard.
Who wouldn't want that? But some people are like, no, John, I don't need to get all, highfalutin. You don't have to stay at the Ritz-Carlton and fly first class, but at least take a flight instead of driving and whatever. No, some people are like, well, but John, I might want an RV. Good.
Great.
Look at your numbers. Talk to your advisor. Find out if you can get that. I'd rather you do it early in retirement so you can find out how much you love it. Because if we take a hit on that because you spent too much, didn't use it the way you wanted to, then I want you to have time to sell that sucker and have time to recuperate on the back end. So super important. Now, let me tell you why I'm getting into all this.
Okay.
Because I have a great client, and I've had this great client for a long period of time. She is unbelievably smart. She is an engineer by trade. Yeah. She has every spreadsheet, everything under the sun. She was methodical.
Yeah.
She was methodical about what she thought exactly her plan would look like. Single lady, so she was very serious. She did not need someone else. She didn't even need me in the beginning. I got it. I was listening to everything she said, looking at her spreadsheets, and all I said was, I know that you're calculating that you're only going to spend 68% of what you're currently making. I really want you to boost that up to at least 100%. Okay. I'd like you to go over. She said, well, John, my budget doesn't work that way, so I don't want to do that.
Okay.
Amazingly, and this is what made her a client, amazingly, we were going through this. We found out that there was about $500, somehow $500 a month that she was having costs on that she didn't anticipate. Mm-hmm. So $500 a month, that's easy to forget, right? It's like, oh, I just forgot to put in groceries, or I forgot to put in car insurance, or that's right, there's an assessment on that lake house. I forgot to think about inflation. Whatever it is, $500 a month seems fairly trivial. Mm-hmm. That's $6,000 a year. Ladies and gentlemen, over the course of retirement, without inflation, that's $180,000 that unfortunately my client would not have prepared for. But that's without inflation. If you look at inflation, that was going to be over $300,000.
Really?
That she would potentially not have in her accounts the way that she was doing the math.
Wow.
Simply because of an error of accounting, or she just didn't think about those costs. It's kind of like when you go into your credit card statement and you see those subscription costs.
Yes.
You're like, well, I know I pay for Netflix, but I forgot that I signed up for Stars because I wanted to see Outlander. I forgot that I subscribed to Paramount because I wanted to see the basketball games. I forgot that I did this. And when you calculate them up, it's like $90 a month or $140 a month or whatever it is.
Yeah, so frustrating.
And it happens to every one of us. And so my whole point to all of this is when you do those overly simplified situations where you're looking at just 70 to 80% or 4% a year, they cause people to fail. Most retirements need to be dynamic. not static. And I really want people to understand in the first 5 to 7 years, again, you are as young and you are as healthy as you're probably going to be. Yep. I want you to use those to your advantage. Then there will be a whole bunch of years, and they call those the go-go years. Then there's going to be the slower go years where like, man, we've seen the world, or we've traveled the United States, and we don't want an RV anymore. We're going to sell this and we don't need all that. And there's many years when we don't spend as much, right? Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, when we get to a certain age, 75, 6, 7, 8, 9, maybe in our 80s, mm-hmm. we start having more health concerns. Mm-hmm. Those things cost a lot more money out of pocket. And so we start seeing spending going up. So this is why using an average cost in retirement of your expenses mm-hmm. can absolutely blow you up. Average costs are liars, and they will burn your portfolio. They will potentially burn your retirement, because you may actually be spending 140% of what you actually made in the first 3 to 5 years of retirement. And you may be spending the same 140% in the tail end of retirement for healthcare costs that you weren't thinking. Okay. All those middle years, unfortunately, you may have been running out of money slowly because you didn't anticipate those first 5 years depleting your portfolio with stress. That's why it's so important to get this right. This is what a solid fiduciary who understands the tax aspects, but more than anything, the income distribution portion of your retirement. Yep. It is the most crucial thing we can do. If I can do anything today, I say, please do not use oversimplified advice on how you pull money out. That will cause even the greatest savers to go broke. Because again, just a second ago, $500 a month over the course of retirement is over $300,000 if you don't get it right. Yeah. Think about that. If you do not understand what those costs are going to be, call our firm. Let us help you figure that out, and you are that much closer to getting the plan that's right for you.
That number to dial is 502-317-0840. Let's begin the conversation, helping you understand about your plan, your money, your future. It's retirementsolutionshow.com, or just click on the links we've got posted in the show notes.
Thanks for listening to the Retirement Solution Podcast with Jon Hicks. Begin the conversation about your savings plan with Jon and the team at J. Hagan Capital by visiting retirementsolutionradio.com. Be sure to listen to Jon's radio show, The Retirement Solution, Saturdays at 8 a.m. and Sundays at 9 a.m. on News Radio 840 WHAS.
J. Hagan Capital Incorporated is not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if J. Hagan Capital Incorporated is licensed in your state, please call 502-690-5635. J. Hagan Capital Incorporated is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency and does not provide legal or tax advice. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through J. Hagan Capital, LLC, NPN number 188279094.